My name is Jacob Stout. I work with EK Computer. I am a system administrator / projects engineer. I work on cloud migrations. I work on network changeovers. I work on servers. Pretty much if it's IT infrastructure, I do have a hand in it. TopLeft, I've been using it for the last 3 years. I've been using ConnectWise for 4. So what was frustrating about managing work prior to TopLeft was the lack of swim lanes. So I had essentially a ticket board, and each ticket did have a status, but when it was the way it was organized on my board was just a bunch of out of order statuses. So it was hard to visualize what needed to be worked on or what was currently in progress. With projects, it has made me a lot more efficient on what I do. With these swim lanes and having our statuses, like we have ours set up like ready, scheduled, waiting, in progress, and completing. I can see what actively needs to be worked on, what I need to prioritize. We utilize the color system. So if there's anything that's a little bit more urgent, we know how to get into it right away. This is something we didn't really get with ConnectWise. It has helped me stay on task as well. Looking at my board prior to TopLeft, sometimes I would just have a lull on what do I need to work on. But with TopLeft, it's quite easy just to see right away what needs to be done, and I could just jump right into it. Before TopLeft, I would do a little bit of scheduling. My manager pretty much primarily did all of the scheduling, though. And then we moved over to TopLeft, and scheduling became one of my duties. All of the project engineers ended up doing their own scheduling at that point. It was very easy just to see a ticket that needed to be scheduled. We would assign ourselves to it, and we'd throw it into the scheduled after we talking to the customer. We do less scheduling, yes, nowadays. Just because with this Agile system here, it allows us to be a little bit more flexible. So we can get the work that needs to be done before a scheduled go live. And then once that work is completed, it's very easy just to throw the tickets into a status that allows us to see that it's ready to be scheduled. And then we, schedule it and then throw it into the scheduled swim lane. TopLeft, with how easy it is to enter time and also to record your time with, the buttons that have been added, it probably saves me a good 40 to 60 minutes of just going through the ticket and opening the ticket, because that's fully eliminated at this point. And it's just easy to track your time right there when you're doing something. And then, I would say 60 minutes, 60 to an hour or an hour and a half per week. Not necessarily, because I am a fan of reading books, and I read some books kind of about an agile workflow, and our company was looking to adopt a more agile methodology instead of the waterfall method. So we were all on board with TopLeft. One of our books that we read is The Goal, and we felt like TopLeft would help us accomplish the goal, to see what our real blockers were. And it did. Oh, what would I tell myself? It doesn't have to be this hard, because with that ticket board where it's just row after row of tickets, it's hard to identify what your blockers are, what is stopping you from being efficient. And at the time, I just kind of thought, this is the way life is. I have to find a new way to be organized, and I try to come up with these other methods where I'm keeping paper notes, I'm keep Microsoft To Do up, and while Microsoft To Do is a great service, it just couldn't do everything I wanted to do. So I would tell myself it just doesn't have to be this difficult to stay organized. Yeah, I would say we didn't really expect it to increase our, interpersonal communication, but with the ability to assign yourself to a ticket and then you see that picture of whoever's working on it on the bottom of that ticket, if I were to want to collaborate with someone because I see a ticket open in the in like a ready column, I can just see who's been working on it, and then I can just message them and be like, hey, what's up with this? If the ticket notes don't have enough information or if they've not entered in time yet. Yeah, I didn't honestly expect it to make us talk a lot more. Yeah, with our meetings, we have, I would say 2 to 3, weekly meetings, and those meetings could take quite a bit longer going through just, the ticket board. I would say those have been sped up a lot quicker because the information that is presented to us and the way it's presented is a lot more digestible. My process, it starts with me immediately opening up TopLeft, identifying out of all the tickets, all these cards, what do I want to work on today? So I have a little bit of a list that I make, and then I move whatever I'm starting on into the in progress column, and I get at it, and I don't stop until I've accomplished the tickets that I want completed. Not daily, no. Once a week. Yeah, we have several different Kanban boards. We have one for the projects that we're currently working on because we're usually working on like 5 or 6 projects at a time. So we kind of go over the overview and see where these projects are at as a whole, status wise. And then afterwards, we go into a more granular view where we can see all of the tickets. And if we have any red because something is, been sitting for too long or just, hasn't been worked on, we dive into that. Well, typically when we had an issue and we were still just using ConnectWise and it was something that was an emergency, everyone would be talking about it anyway through Teams. I guess TopLeft gives you the view on what a major issue was before. Like, let's say I had, the week off and, I'm not there and something big happened and suddenly there's a lot of work, like a server died and, we're currently working on some bit of disaster recovery. If it happens, over the weekend, or like Friday or Thursday, and I'm not there, the next day where I am in, I can see those tickets right away, because they have that color, they have the importance set to them. I immediately can, get into what needs to be done. I would describe TopLeft as the really nice Agile tool to keep you on track with what needs to be done. I would miss the swim lanes. Just the ease of changing statuses, grabbing a ticket and just throwing it over. I would also miss the stopwatch on the cards. Those features right there, if those were gone, I would have to change the way I do things. And it would be miserable. I know for a fact my time entries would be a lot more inconsistent. So I know that would be damaging to me and it would be damaging to the company I work for. Well, in ConnectWise, you have to open up the ticket, and then you have to open up your time entry. And what I would do prior to ConnectWise or prior to TopLeft is I would open up the ticket, I'd have that time entry open, and then I would close out the tab and I would work, and then I would enter my time. But with TopLeft, I don't necessarily have to do that. I could just click that stopwatch without even entering the ticket because I already know what needs to be done based off of the ticket summary or based off of being told what needs to happen at a meeting. And I do what needs to be done and I click the stop button and then I can enter my time and I'm good to go. It's just a lot quicker, a lot less clicks. It's fairly intuitive. When we started doing it, a lot of us sat down for like an hour to 2 hours just kind of going through the features. And then anytime we've gotten a new employee, we sit them down for about half an hour to an hour just kind of going through it. And like I said, it's really easy to work with and it's fairly intuitive. So everyone kind of figures it out relatively fast. I would tell them that it doesn't have to be this difficult. There is a different way you can, view what you're doing in a way that makes it a lot less overwhelming. Don't be afraid to make several boards and get a little bit creative with your processes. I say we do Agile work, but we aren't software developers. So sometimes there is, compromises we have to make here or there. So I would say get a little bit creative and just try to work and figure out what's best for your department or your company.